Been a while since I've recorded one of these, so I thought I'd make one today since the trail's so pretty. Everything is green and the snow at this elevation's all gone, so we're able to get out and enjoy it this weekend. I wanted to talk a little bit about how my overall coaching philosophy, since I know that it can seem at odds that I do career coaching, leadership coaching, but also business coaching, which is really focused on self-employment and the freedom of that and how that can enable semi-retirement if that's something you're interested in at a much younger age, which is essentially what I did, kind of going into semi-retirement at 50 through self-employment. And I had started self-employment long before that. I did that way back in 2010 and left the corporate world. And they do seem at odds, but I don't see it that way because I'm looking at kind of this overall arc, this encompassing theme of empowerment. And for the longest time, I've been calling that this sense of invincibility, invincible career, invincible solopreneurs, invincible life. And I'm not as crazy about that language as I used to be. It's more about empowerment and being in a position where you're so good at what you do and you're known for that. People know who you are, you're present, you're in their minds, that you have a lot of opportunities. I've talked about becoming an opportunity magnet before, where you are really good at what you do. People know that, people like working with you, you're a good person, and therefore friends and old colleagues and recruiters and hiring managers are always trying to poach you. They're always trying to hire you. Or people are trying to get you to join their company, join their startup, become a co-founder. And that happens with people who are really talented and really good people, and people like working with them. And so that's really about that empowerment where you're the one deciding what your working life is going to be, what the balance is going to be between your professional life and your personal life. You are calling those shots, not someone else. So you're not feeling so vulnerable and weak that you have to put up with all the BS that happens when you're dealing with a bad boss or a toxic work environment or a demanding employer who's telling you that you need to work nights and weekends and you need to jump when they say jump. You know, that happens to people that don't have that power, that can't push back, that don't have other opportunities. But when you are empowered and you do have lots of opportunities, you can be like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I've witnessed that in my career. I've watched people who are extremely talented, in demand, with rare skills, be able to push back and say, yeah, I'm not going to do that. What are you going to do? And the employer knew if that person walked away, they were screwed. I remember those conversations. And I remember getting to that point in my own career finally where I stepped into my power and realized I'm good at what I do. And people like working with me and I could go anywhere. And I had that experience. You know, I had lots of great people that brought me into companies. I call them inside champions, people that made it easy for me to get a job. And I saw how quickly that could happen, both as an employee and as an entrepreneur. You know, I was a solopreneur a long time ago during the dot-com boom, and I saw how much business there was and how easy it was to get new clients. And so that empowers you. You stop putting up with a lot of crap because you know you can walk. You know you can walk. So my overarching theme is becoming empowered and pushing as hard as you can for what you deserve, for as much as you can. There is going to be a period in your life where your earning potential is maximized, where we all have that. There's research, different professions probably different geographies. It's going to be a little different in different industries, obviously, but there are peaks of earning potential. And after that, it's going to get harder. It's going to get harder because those positions for very senior people are few and far between. They're more rare. It's going to get harder because there is age discrimination, especially in some industries like tech, entertainment, Hollywood, you name it. It gets harder. It gets a lot harder. So you really need to get as far as you can, as high as you can, and earn as much as you can, because we all had the same hours in the day. You know, would you want to work 8 hours a day, the same 8 hours a day, and get paid $100,000 a year or $300,000 a year? I would hope it's cut and dried. And the important thing is, when you push hard and you're earning that much, you bank it for your future. You don't burn it. And I talk about this all the time. I talk about living lean, putting that money into investments, both in terms of kind of your retirement fund, but also more aggressive investments that return more, investments in a future business, you know, getting that stuff up and running and testing it, getting some passive income going if you want to buy real estate, whatever. But the whole idea is that you're trying to buy your freedom someday. We all probably enjoy work to different degrees and varying degrees, and it depends on if you see your profession as a calling or not, and if you love what you do, and if you're doing meaningful work, and you're working with great people. Maybe you don't see this urgency to escape it, and it's not for everyone. Not everyone needs to escape what they do for a living. Some people love it. A lot of us don't, or a lot of us didn't. And so it sure would be nice to have a point in the future where you could work on what you want to work on. And you could work as many hours as you want or as few. You can work when you want, go on vacation when you want, work where you want. You don't have to commute to an office if you don't want to. Work with the people you enjoy working with, right? No more bad bosses, no more annoying coworkers. You could decide who your clients are going to be, your customers, your partners if you want business partners. It's up to you. So I kind of look at these decades of life as, obviously you have your childhood, and then you're going to, you know, a lot of people kind of an advanced degree. You're going to college, or you're getting a graduate degree, and you're just getting used to working. You know, your life in your 20s, it should be fun. It should be enjoyable. You should be having a good time and enjoying those young years. You know, you're finding friends, you're finding love, maybe you're starting a family, you're figuring out what you want to do for your education, for your career, and you're kind of getting on the path. And then your primary earning years for many of us, it's got to be 30 to 50. So your 30s and 40s. A lot of people will cap out once you kind of hit your early 50s. That's just reality. You're also kind of get to that point, you're just kind of tired of the game. So instead, unless you love what you do and you're in control of it, if you're working for someone else, you start to see the same old patterns again and again. You start to see the bad decisions again and again. The corporate games, the politics, the BS, the bad bosses. Every time a new boss comes in, you have to teach them how to do what they do, and they often don't appreciate it. And dealing with layoffs, I mean, I won't go into all of it, but anyway, after a while, you've had enough. And I work with a lot of people who kind of hit that point in their late 40s, early 50s. They're like, you know what, I'm kind of tired of this. I'm sick of it. And now that's when you transition to that next phase, because at that point, very few people have made enough money to walk away forever. You know, most of us have not hit it rich with a startup or won the lottery, become a multi-millionaire or billionaire. We're going to have to work. We're going to have to do something, but we don't want to work in the same job, and we don't want to work as much. You don't want to be cranking 12-hour days, 7 days a week. You don't even really want to be working 8-hour days, 5 days a week anymore. Life is short. So that's where I think my career coaching and my leadership coaching transition. So yeah, I'm helping people in their 20s get their first job. I've done that with kids in college. I'm helping people in their 30s and 40s get ahead in their career, get promoted, climb the ladder, make as much money as they possibly can, find their next job when they're dealing with a bad situation at work. But then you get to the 50s and it's like, maybe it's time to ease into something different and look at doing some consulting or part-time work, contract work. You could take a job somewhere part-time that's less stressful. There's a lot of people that do that. I'm a big fan of becoming self-employed, building your own business that allows you to be self-employed and semi-retired, because now you're in a race against time. You know, most people, kind of the average mortality, most people, I think it's average, aren't going to live beyond 80 to 82 at the most. I think it's improved a little bit recently, but that means half of the folks are going to pass away before 80. Half might live past 80. But it's rare. So, and those years are not the same. I can tell you. I've been through my 40s and 50s. I'm approaching 60. And what I have been capable of doing physically and enjoying in life in my 40s and even 50s is starting to change as I enter probably my next decade here pretty soon. So I really want people to enjoy the back half of their life as much as possible. I don't want people to put off their bucket list and all their dreams and all the stuff they really want to do, travel the world, spend more time with their children and grandchildren, friends and family, going hiking like this, whenever you feel like it, skiing, going trail running, going swimming, exploring the world. My wife and I are doing a lot of that now. You can do a lot of that still very capably, very physically in your 50s, maybe even your 60s. It's going to change in the 70s and 80s. It really does. So do you really want to wait to retire until you're almost 70 when you may only have 10 more years of life? You may not even be able to do much in that last decade. Are you going to be doing trails like this? Are you going to be hiking in the Andes, exploring castles in Scotland, backpacking through China? No, probably not. So there's more to life than money. I coach people to earn as much as they can because money is necessary. Bank as much as you can, create that cushion, feel that security. Find a way to ease into self-employment so you don't have to burn through all of your retirement and your savings. It extends it. I've been doing the math on it. My self-employment is nicely extending my retirement plans, so it looks like we can get through the rest of our lives. I've been modeling out to 100 rather graciously for myself. I doubt I'm going to make 100, but I modeled it out just to be on the safe side. So that's when my coaching eases into that, teaching people how to leverage their expertise so you're not starting over. You're using everything you have, your talent, your knowledge, your skills, your experience, what you enjoy doing, what you're great at doing, to build some sort of self-employment business that gives you the luxury of working when you want and not, and enjoying the rest of your life as much as possible. So that's kind of like where my life coaching starts to come into it too, because I really believe life is short. We're not here very long. We should love as much as possible, live as much as possible, take care of our health. I exercise every day. I try to eat healthy as much as possible because I want these final years to be super active. I'm almost 60 and I'm hiking mountain trails sometimes for 6 to 8 hours a day. It's crazy. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm not capable of that. So that's why I take care of myself, and I want you to take care of yourself too. So yeah, I guess that's it. Use your 20s to get educated, find your life partner, make your friends, get your education, and transfer that into a good career, get started with a good start, push hard, push fast, make as much money as you possibly can, because you should get as much as you can for that 8 hours a day. Squeeze it. You deserve it. It isn't a one-way relationship with an employer. And use those years, your 30s and 40s, to bank that money, make as much as possible, build your connections, build your network, get that next self-employment consulting business lined up, get that ready to go, and then flip the switch and live large. Live large in your 50s and 60s, working a little, playing a lot, and then easing into your older years, healthy, nice financial cushion, no fear, and lots of time for enjoying the rest of your life with friends and family. That's what it's all about, man. Love and happiness. Okay, this went long, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed seeing the forest while I talked.